Whether you get your news from CNN or Fox, when your browser looks for CNN.com, the DNS resolver that you use gets the appropriate IP address for it. But so it will be if you try to go to a malicious site like this one over here. Your DNS router will result to this IP address, which is malicious. That is bad enough in today's environment with all the computers and laptops and phones and things that we have. It's getting even more relevant by the fact of we have a bunch of IoT devices at home and at the enterprise that can also be compromised. But the good news is that there is a new big kid in town called Quad9, which is a DNS resolver whose address is 4 times 9, 9.9.9. What this is a very good organization, and you can get more details if you go to www.quad9.net, and you'll see who is behind this. So there's IBM with the X-Force and its threat intelligence, but there's also the Package Clearinghouse, the Global Cyber Alliance, RiskIQ, ThreatStuff, FCQ, which is actually very reputable in Europe, and there are very many more. You can see if you go to the website, you see all the very nice players. But all these organizations, they have a vast collection of malware, ransomware, sites that are used for this, as well as that perform exploits of vulnerability. So this collection is actually very remarkable. Now, how do you use this? Any change that you do on your DNS, you can screw up things, because this is essential for the internet to work. So let me give you a couple of assurances that I had found regarding this. So the first thing is, what is if, this is a blacklist, all these things are, contribute to a big blacklist of things. But what happens if a good site, Amazon.com or your bank or whatever, for any mistake that any one of these fine organizations could make, falls into one of these blacklists, and then people cannot go to Amazon or to buy stuff, or to Walmart or wherever they want to go? Well, there is a whitelist that actually supersedes the blacklist, in which more than 1 million of known and reputable websites exist in here. Again, that minimizes the problem number one, which is why if a good guy ends up by mistake or on that list. Second thing has to do with performance. If you are using your ISP to give you the DNS resolution, probably the performance that you have is pretty good, because they are the closest to you. Well, what this organization has done today, they have more than 70 sites today in 40 countries. That's quite an infrastructure. And they plan to go to, I believe this is 160 in 2018. So the resolution is actually, their spread is actually very good, and they use Anycast to make sure that the DNS resolver that you get is the one closest to your destination. Now, they also, if you support DNSSEC, this Quad9 resolver also supports that. I believe that they will very soon support DNS script. Now, in order for you to take advantage of this and start experimenting for it, you can, the easiest way is to go to your router and put the 9.9.9 as the DNS for all your network. Or you can start by going into your host. If this is something at home, you can go into your host, go on their networking on the DNS configuration and put quad 9. Now, when I try to do this at home, and I have Optimum is my ISP provider, and when I try to go into the ISP router to put 9.9.9, not surprisingly, they didn't allow me to do that because they want to get the data about myself, and that's the other aspect of this whole thing, to probably monetize the information about where I do where do I go, and who knows how they use that information. And that's why you get, companies like Google that they want you to use actually a very good DNS resolver 8.8.8, which probably has also some, I'm not sure whether it has all these group of organizations, how their threat information matches with this vast group of people. But even if it is the same, the problem with Google is that that they will monetize the information they collect about you. What I read from Quad 9 is that they promise in the website that they do not and will never monetize or sell or provide demographics or marketing information about what you use. So big plus from the privacy standpoint. Going back to what I was trying to say is that when I try to put here in my router 9.9.9, obviously, Optimum, they say no way, Jose. I don't want you to get away from us. So, not for these, but for other reasons, what I have already in my house are two routers. Let me explain you what I do. And I have a router behind this one, and in here, of course, I can put 9.9.9. So everything on my network, and this network one is where I have all the PCs, tablets, phones, etc. on a Wi-Fi. But then I have another one that I also put the 9.9.9, which is the one that I use for IoT devices. So the ring doorbell, the alarm, the cameras, all the devices that I have, sprinklers, TVs, all this stuff is in a separate network. But also I want those devices to be protected as well, probably more even so than the PCs and other devices. So this is, I think, a great initiative. It's something that I encourage you to give it a try. And if you don't mind, you can share your experience by leaving a note on the video, so all of us can actually learn from your experiences. I think this is a big deal. This can easily be a very big deal.